Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today I'm very excited to share with you the completed reading journal that I set up as a giveaway. This has been a big labor of love and I'm so excited to finally introduce you to the entire journal. If you haven't been following along, I have been sharing little episodes of me setting up this journal on my channel. The entire playlist will be linked below. This is a Journal Junkies Basics journal. It is an A5. I got it in the pale blue color and it is a very basic 160 GSM dot grid notebook. I have been using this for myself and I have enjoyed it enough, so that's why I chose this brand. It's also local to me and it's quite affordable. So this is the journal, and because it's quite plain, there's no decorative elements on it because it is a basics journal. I went ahead and put this quote on the front. It says, "The forest is forever because it dies and dies and so lives." So this is a quote from the Tales from Earthsea by 𝓕𝓸𝓮𝓮. I'm saying that wrong, I know I am. This is the quote that the giveaway winner chose to put on the front of the journal. It means a lot to her and to the theme of the book. So there was another quote that she gave me, and it's something that she wrote herself, and I put it on this this resin bookmark that's going to go home with it as well. And that just says, "The fire burns bright at night." So if you can't figure out already, or if you haven't watched the videos where I've mentioned what the theme is to this journal, the giveaway winner asked for a journal set up around elemental magic. And so that is what we've got inside here. And let's get straight into it, because this is a complete journal ready to be used in 2024. We have the cover page here, and it's always a bit annoying because you could stick this down, but I decided to keep it just quite simple and use this paper rather than glue it down. And we've got just the year and some elemental what are they, logos? No, symbols, there we go. Elemental symbols going around the header. In the corner here I've stamped with the Quirky Cup Collective's reading journal stamp set a little book that's open, and I've just added "This reading journal belongs to Nicola" because that is who won the journal. And then moving in here we've got the index and the reading challenge. Everything that I'm showing you, aside from the monthly views from February to December, are already in a video, so I will make sure that that's all linked below for you in that playlist. But this was the first episode I set up, just these 2 pages, because I wanted to introduce the journal, and it's changed. So I ended up having to put in another piece of paper over top of the original index. I had only halved the page, and in retrospect I didn't do a good enough job at setting it up before, and I'm still not 100% thrilled with how I spaced this, but beforehand it wasn't going to fit because of the decorative element, so I just squished it all in to make sure that there was enough space. This could be a place to put down a key or whatever, something that the giveaway winner can figure out what to do with the rest of that space. You'll notice that there are some spots where it's blank, and that is because those are the blank pages that I've left in between every page that is marked down. So on the right hand side we've got the reading challenge, and for Nicola, or the giveaway winner, she has chosen her number to be 60 books for 2024. Good luck with getting to that, Nicola. And we've got the bookshelfie, which also has space for 60 books, and this is one that I spent a lot of time on, but also it was a little bit like a guilty pleasure for me. I've always wanted to do one of these types of book setups. I've mentioned before that because I read quite a bit. These don't really work out for me unless I'm going to do multiple pages of it, so I decided that I would let my creativity fly and just rolled with making this on the spot. Everything was just thought of as it went, which means some things aren't to scale, but I'm really happy with how it came together in the end. And underneath the hidden door is Nicola's little what is it, key for her star ratings. So she wanted to track by star ratings, and that's all ready to go. Flipping over into the 2024 at a glance page. This is a very visual page when it's complete. Right now it just looks like a future log that's empty. If you do bullet journaling, this is essentially what a future log would look like. But when she completes a book, she can mark down the day that she completed it on with her own colour key, and then write down the book down here. I do it with with star ratings, and I think it looks really, really cool. She noticed that I had the page up on my feed and said, I really like that page, could you add it in? So we definitely added it to this journal. Days Read Pixel is something that I do in my journal. I track how many books I read each day, but you could track what format, you could track hours listened if you only did audiobooks, you know, just anything that you wanted to do, you can use this for this layout for it. And I've just added a little stamp down here again from that Quirky Club Collective stamp pack, and I've left it blank so she can fill in her own key and figure out what else she needs to put on this page. You'll notice that there's a lot of intentional blank space throughout this journal because I had to make sure that I didn't personalize it too far, because then it's not usable for someone else. On the other page we have Read the Rainbow, very self-explanatory. It's a challenge where you put the cover of the book that coincides with that. So if I read a book that had a green cover, I could stick it here. If I read a red book, so forth. Yeah, this one here can be for white or grey. Obviously I can't represent a white book on white paper, so I went with a grey pen to mark that down. Another 2 challenges for next year for Nicola to do. The A to Z challenge is really self-explanatory. You can use author names or titles of the books, or I'm not even sure what else you would do, but you could think of something. And then on this side it is a place for the winner to put down 24 books that she would like to read next year. Series tracker is exactly the same as mine because it's what works. We didn't talk too much about this, but she did like what I had, so we went with that. And essentially there's enough space in these boxes for 10 books in one series as is, or you could halve it and make it 20 if you've got a bigger volume of books, such as a manga series, or you could even possibly make it into thirds. It would be very tiny, but still usable. And there's enough space there to cover a few series for 2024. Again, similar layout to my own TBR, my own owned TBR. Yeah, just write down the books and mark off. I haven't done colour codes or keys or anything. I wanted to make sure that was something that the winner could choose on her own. Some blank pages for some other challenges or collections she might think of and want to put here. We didn't do a goals page, but she definitely could do that. And then we flip straight into January, and all the months are the same except for January, so I'll talk you through a little bit about them as I go, but this one will be probably the one I talk about the most. Each month has a theme, or a elemental theme I should say, and I've attempted to pair it as best as I can. I didn't know much about elemental magic until I did this project, and now I feel like I know a little bit more, and I had a lot of fun learning and looking for some of these themes that I've created, and some were harder than others. Fire is one of the most common elemental magics on Pinterest. That's where I looked, and I had an abundance of imagery to work with. So very happy with how this came together. So we've got the cover page and the favorite reads page on this right side. This is my 2022 layout, not something I did in 2023, but she really liked that, so I went back to this old style for her. We've got just a space for the title, the author, the genre, thoughts to write down about the book, why she loved it so much, a space to put down the star rating, and I used the Quirky Cup Collective stamp again from that same stamp pack. Very easy to work with. Very much so like this stamp, that's why it's still on my desk. And the space here to stick in the cover of the book. Flipping over, we have the monthly view, which is something I use a lot, but it's bigger on my one. I was able to condense it down onto one page, and I think that looks really, really good. I'm going to hopefully try and do something similar in my own journal when I go to set it up. And then on the right-hand side, we've got the TBR with a decorative element down the side here. I have a complete video showcasing how I set this entire month up, except for, I think, the next 2 pages, but in that video explains why. And then I feel like every time I start a new journal, if I'm changing my style up or anything like that, I think that the first month is always deemed the experimental month. And so I had a list to work from of the pages that were wanted in this journal, and I was just working from that, and then I realized when I was setting it up it's not going to work that way. So for January it's the only one that's different, where we've got this page here and we've started the reading log here, and then it flips over onto there. The winner reads about 8 books a month. That was the sort of limit she wanted to work with. So you'll see how I fix that in February and from there out. But it's also a month where I feel like you make the most mistakes, so just trying to learn how you want things to be set up a bit. So I will be transparent with the mistakes throughout the journal. As you can see, I've had to stick in a piece of paper to cover up that mistake there. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I have since changed how that works, so I'm very happy now that it's got a routine. But here it was just a little bit of testing. And then we've also got the stats page, and now these are on to the left of each column because this is where the information is going to go. So you can write down her data here, and then for each pie chart it needed to have space for a colour code and what it represented. So I made sure that everything was aligned to the left in both columns. And that's the end of January. It's blank page for whatever may come up, another readathon or challenge, or just some notes, or maybe even she might have some extra books that she wants to talk about here, or anything can go here. So I've left that for every month. Flipping into February, I have electric or lightning as a theme, and I forgot to mention when I was in January just now, all the titles I tried to link to the theme as well. So the first one was called Fireneedle, and then this one, I can't remember what it's called, I'm going to link them all below. I just went on to DaFont, and I think I typed in lightning and chose one from that, but you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the title has like little lightning strikes through it. I thought that was really cool, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to replicate that myself, so I just printed them out and stuck them in, and I think it looks really cool. This is the only month that has lines intentionally drawn in because I made a mistake and I just fixed it by going through, but I think it works well with the colour scheme and everything. And again, you'll see the same layout is happening for these first 2 pages, and then we move into the reading log, and this is the layout I go with from here out on a two-page spread, and I think it works really, really well that way. Much more pleasing to the eye. And then we've got the brought and donated page, and we've got the stats here. Blank page again. Let's start flipping through a little bit faster, shall we? We get to March, and this is where the biggest mistake happened. So March is the metal month, and I wanted this contact paper. It looks like it's a bit iridescent and hollow, but it is very blue. I wanted it to look like liquid metal, and that did not work as planned. And then I stupidly paired it with a blue pen, and now this looks like ice to me. So I spoke to Nicola and I said I'm so sorry, but she actually likes it, so I'm happy to report that it's not a big deal. But for me, I was a little bit frustrated that it didn't work out how I saw it in my head working out. The font again was something to do with metal, and I used a metallic marker to mark all the headers in, but very much so the same all the way through. And those elements all were cohesive, so at least it works together. And then moving on to the first quarter stats, or quarter one stats, we've got a space here for the amount of books read, the amount of pages read, average, star ratings. I really would have liked a bigger spot for this, but unfortunately I couldn't think of a way to make it fit. I know we've got this here, but it doesn't stay there throughout the year, so I just paired it with this section here. And then we've got spaces for audience, genres. I read a lot less of different genres, so this wouldn't work for me, but I just left it bigger because I didn't know how many different genres Nicola reads. Then we've got length, format, moods, pace, top 3 authors, and next quarter goals. We've also got brought and donated a bar there to like signify, like say she donated more books than she brought. That's great. She can sort of signify that across the bar. And then we've got the section here for longest read, shortest read, most enjoyed and least liked. A lot of these are Storygraph based stats, and that is what Nicola uses. So it was really interesting to set something up with those in mind. And I actually think I might in 2024 start using Storygraph for more of a stats-based way of looking at things. I have always attempted to use both Goodreads and Storygraph, but I don't know, just Goodreads seems to just be like automatic for me to use, and then I forget to go and fill it in on Storygraph, so I'm really out of date there. So I think I might like restart my account, I'm not sure. But back to the book, there's a space here for notes, and then because we didn't set up goals in the beginning of the book, I thought it might be nice for Nicola to have like some goals here to go into the next quarter. Maybe things show up here as trends, or books that she wanted to get to but she didn't get to were missed in the first quarter, so maybe she can write them down here. Just a small space so it doesn't feel too overwhelming. And then we flip into April, and April was one of the months that I did a lot more work with because I had quite a big theme for it. So I obviously it's wind/air, and I used gelatos to sort of make this really dream-like cloudy sky backdrop, and I really like how it looks. However, it was quite time what is the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say time wasting, because it was definitely not time wasting, but it took up a lot of time. Yeah, I really like how it came together. It feels really weird to me because it's really like dreamy and summery like, and April here in New Zealand is autumn, so it's not the right colours, but I really do like how this one came together in the end. It was worth the effort. And again, the header was made with intention. This font had these little brackets on each end. Well, that's how you made the font do that, and I thought that was really, really pretty. So everything sort of flows together. And moving along quickly, we move into May. And again, I feel like I spend a lot of time on certain elements in each theme as I set up each month. So for this month, it is shadow or dark magic, and I really like how this cover page came together. I just love how this just blends into each other so nicely. And then I used my metallic watercolor paints to do all the headers, and that actually took a very long time. I even stamped the headers with the metallic paint. I've never done that before. And yeah, it took a long time to set this up, but I think it worked out really well. I was on a kick because I'd used them in my everyday journal, and I thought I would use them here as well. yeah, took a lot of time, but it's really effective and I really love the look. I think it added to the element of the shadow and the dark sort of mood that this one has. And I think one of the biggest things I struggled with, aside from making little errors where I had to cross them out as I went, was making sure I didn't overwhelm the white space. For me, it's always felt like I have to fill in the white space because you don't want an empty looking journal. However, that's personalizing it. So it was like, where's the limit between decoration and making sure that there's enough room for the owner to enjoy it and make it their own? And I really, really struggled with that, but I think I've done an okay balance moving into June, which it's one of my favourite ones. And it's not because it's my birthday month, though I just feel like this one came together so well compared to some others that took a long time to search for. Because there was not only just time in the journal, there was also the researching behind setting up each theme that took a long time. And for this one, I really loved the font that I used. I just think it pops off. It's got, I just did it with one of my metallic markers, and I think it just really brought this theme together nicely. And water is another element that was very easy to find an aesthetic for. So I just love this one. It's just so clean looking. And yeah, that's June over and done with. So we're halfway through, so that means a mid-year stats page. Again, I had to make more room, so everything got shuffled around a little bit. You can see that little note section is very small now, and the bar that was up here is down here, but everything else is all the same. It's just been shifted around, and I think that this layout is very cool. Moving into July, the theme for July was ice, and that's where that contact paper would have come in handy. However, I'm really happy with how this came together all the same. I think it went really well. I did use stickers that I printed out myself for the headers. I don't know, I think they look okay, but at the time I remember being really like, I don't think this is working. I found myself very critical while I was setting this up because I wanted it to be the best, and I knew even though it's handmade and I was making mistakes here and there, like little mistakes that I could cover, I just wanted it to be the best, and I wanted I wanted to really like it, and I feel like that pressure was sometimes hard to tell myself, no, it actually looks okay, calm down. Yeah, really happy with most of the setups that have gone through, like nothing as bad as March happened again. And August, I've been told, is the giveaway winner's birthday month, and she's very happy because the colour scheme is perfect for her and she really, really liked it. So I'm very happy about that, and it's one of my favourites as well. This one is Poison, and I really liked how it came together. I had to work hard to get it together, but when I did, it just worked effortlessly when I was putting it into the book. It was the work before it that took a while. I spent a long time weeding out these headers. It is like a green foil that I used in my own journal in June this year, and I must have blanked out on how much I hated weeding it back then too, because I didn't remember it until I started working with it, and I was like, oh, it's that stuff that's really hard to work with. But it paid off in the end. I absolutely love the font choice as well. I think it's called Poison Ivy, and it's just really, really pretty. And I'm really happy with how it's just all come together, the colour scheme and everything. One of my favourites. And it also blends in moves so nicely into September, which was nature. And I just love how September came together as well. My favourite thing about it is the headers. It's called Mediterranean. I absolutely love it. And I'm actually thinking about using it in my own journal for 2024, but I'm not quite sure yet. I've got to start setting it up today. But I'm just really happy with how this one came together. Another one that was really easy to find things for. But I did keep this one more simple because I wanted it to look cleaner because of the headers being so sharp pointed. It was important to me to make it all sort of level out a bit. And then Q3 stats are upon us, and this is the only one where each month only got one line rather than two, because I couldn't make it fit otherwise. You'll see what I do for the end of the year stats, but that was the only way I could make this all work and make it all fit on the same page. I'm very happy with how it came together though, and I'm hopeful that there'll be enough room to fit all the information into. You could technically for each quarter just only have the quarter stats, so like just share from July to September here, and that would have made, you know, just as much sense as this does. But I thought it would be nice to just bring, I know it's a bit repetitive bringing that information forward, but it just makes it easier for when she wants to put it into the end of year stats, or just to look at this page and think how far she's come. That's why I went with a bigger quarterly stat here. But other than that, we're all good. Same setup, so I won't talk about it. This one took probably the longest to set up because of the headers. I know I mentioned that August took a long time to weed the headers, but once they were ready to go, it was really quick to put them on. But this font is basically shaped like rocks, and there's so many little lines, and then I had to do the shadow behind it and then colour it in. It took an age, and this is the one where I showed in my last video to match with January, because that's where I was up to. I was up to working in this one when I put the video up, and the footage just for doing the headers I had to cut out because it was just so long. But I really like how it came together. These last few months you can tell that I've started to get my swing for what I'm doing, and I was really happy with this one as well. I'm not sure about this paper down here. That was the only thing I was worried about, because it's more like tree than earth, but I guess trees come out of the earth, so and I didn't have any soil type of paper, so we went with that. Moving into November, and the theme for November is light, and if you can't tell, that is hard because this is very shiny, iridescent, hollow headers, and this one weeded like a dream. It went on, like the other one took me like 40 minutes to weed, this only took 10 for the same amount of headers, so just goes to show with the right products you have a good time. I wanted this one to look like a burst of pictures, because light comes to us quite blindingly at times, so there was that type of element behind the reasoning for why there's so many photos all like piled on each other on this one. I also used a metallic, a glitter based marker, the Pentel Dual Metallic pen in gold. I really like them, so I used that for this one as well. And I'm really happy with how this came together. However, at this point it was unfortunate because I had run out of my little star stamps that I was using, stickers, sorry, and I went to the shops to try and get some more of that same paper so it would match, and they were out of it, so I had to go with what I had on hand, and rather than use just the 5 stickers I had remaining and then finish the rest off with another type, I decided that I would just use the stickers that I had left over from my own journal for 2023 and make it as cohesive as possible in these last 2 months rather than fuss about it too much. And I think it looks okay the way it is. So it was unfortunate that I didn't have the foresight to count out in advance, but I wouldn't have been able to fix it anyway because there was no stock for the paper that I'd used and I wanted it to match. But never mind, it's such a small thing to worry about, but I do have spares of both the small ones and the larger stars, so I'll stick them in the back for her to use in case she makes mistakes and wants to replace them at any point. Final month, and there's things I really like about this one, and then there's things that I don't like. So let's get into what I do like. This is the Elemental Cities. I couldn't figure out another element to use that didn't like overflow into ones that I'd already used. That was the biggest issue I was facing, and so I decided to go with Elemental Cities. And then I also thought how cute it would be to stamp the headers, and then I remembered when I started stamping them how much I hate these stamps. we're just going to pretend that the header for December doesn't exist, because that's the thing that I'm the most annoyed about. But otherwise, I really like the colour that I used, and the font is really cute. It's just hard to get it lined up in the way that you want to, especially when the E is not centered on the stamp. So for future reference, I better not use them in anything that I plan on doing online, because it's going to annoy me. But overall, I really like how it came together, and I just think that this colour worked well with the ethereal, is that how you say it? Ethereal qualities of all these cities. So that is why I went with that type of font and colour scheme. And we hadn't used purple except for in the startup, so I thought, well, I'll use it here again with those stamps, stickers, sorry. And then the final page for December, if I can turn, is here. And then we have our end of year stats page, and you can see that it's actually a Dutch door. So I've done 2 pages here. I've made a space for all the months here, and then we've got a bigger bar or a wider bar for the bought versus donated. Same stats here again, and then I've put the top reads here. I thought a top 6 would be more than enough, and then I've left this space blank because when I was setting it up last night, I realized that if I was to go any further than I had, that would personalize it too far for myself. Maybe she would want to track different things that I would like to as a top book or top genre or top, you know, like we're different people. So I thought it would be best to just stop there. This is not stats related, this is more like personal, so there's enough space here to carry on. And then we also have just a few more pages left. I think there's only like 4 or 5 2-page spreads left. So I managed to get most of the journal full, and then these could just be used for notes or thoughts or anything that I would actually be really inclined to do a pen test on this page here. So whatever pen she has that she wants to use, she can check to make sure it's not going to be too juicy or inky for the paper. And then at the back here is where you're meant to put your name for this specific journal. It's got information about the journal there as well, and then it's got, like most journals have, a nice gusseted pocket at the back here, which I will be sticking in a few goodies. Well, they're not really goodies, they're the things like the stickers that I was mentioning before, and the excess photos that I've still got that I've printed out that she can use on those blank pages if she would like to. So that is the journal in full, and there are a couple of things that I want to send home with this journal. One of them you saw already. It's this little bookmark with her quote on it that means a lot to her. So I thought that would look really nice on this piece of resin that I've created, and so that's going home with her little book here. And also, I mentioned this in another video, but I purchased Nicola her own set of dual end dot markers from Kmart. These are the ones that I use throughout the whole setup. Here's mine, or some of them. They are so handy to have, and I figured if she wanted to carry over using things, so like maybe she donated more than 6 books, which is what I dotted it out for on each page, she wouldn't have to use a different pen to mark that. That's the way I think. I like things to be consistent, so I thought I would add in a packet of these pens. They are really handy. They also can be used to write with on the thinner tip, or even decorate with. But yeah, this is also going home with the journal. So this whole process was done as a giveaway because I was asked a lot about would I set up my own journals for like custom journals to sell, or would I be able to do like a journal for someone and then they pay me in another way. I've been asked it a few times over the years, and so I decided that I would try and see if it was for me. And I've really enjoyed the process of making up this journal. It is really humbling to be able to spend so much time working on something for someone else and hoping that they'll have as much joy out of using it as I do my own. And from what I've heard back as feedback from Nicola, the winner, she's very excited to use this, and very, very grateful for all my effort that I've put in. It does take a long time to make a journal, at least for me. It was a process that I started, I think, in August or September. I can't remember which month it was, but since then I have been working on this journal. You'll notice that in the earlier clips that I shared in the earlier episodes, I had my Halloween nails on, so like it was very obvious that I had been working on this for many months. To me anyway, when I was looking back at the footage that I had edited and started sharing over this month. However, I am not going to be doing any more custom journals, and it's not because I didn't enjoy myself. There were definitely some times where I was like frustrated with the process because like I said, I had that pressure to perform and that pressure to make sure that this was as perfect as possible, and then I'd make a stupid mistake like overdrawing a line that I knew I could live with in my own journal, but I was like, oh, I don't want that to be for someone else. Little things like that where it felt a little bit negative, but overall I had a really good time doing this. The main reason is simply down to how much time it took me to do this and how much my focus had to be on this instead of the things that I do. I don't want this to sound negative because I'm not negative about it. It's just a fact that this is not something that's feasible for everyone to do, and I can see why a lot of people either charge a lot of money for it or don't do it. And for whatever reason that's valid. Again, with all the people that do custom journals and can make it happen within a certain time frame, that is amazing and all the power to them. But for my personal lifestyle with what I have to do every day, I did find that it was challenging to get this done, and I had every intention of having this done at the start of November, and I overshot that by an entire month. So yeah, some great times being had with this journal, and I'm so glad that you spent the time with me as well if you've watched any of the episodes or have encouraged me along the way when I've mentioned about it in my videos. It wouldn't change this experience at all. Even with the negative moments where I was putting pressure on myself, it was just a great experience, and I'm glad that I could say that I made a journal for someone else because I've never done that before. I've been journaling since 2017, so yeah, very nice to be finally able to give to someone else. But on that note, I'm very grateful that you spent some time with me looking through this journal for 2024, and I am even more excited because that means now that this chapter is closed, I can move on to my own journal for 2024, something I've been putting off because I've been so focused on this one. And after I finished this one last night, I was very, very excited because it came to me just, I almost felt like I was not going to have anything prepared for 2024. I was getting really frustrated by it, and then it was like almost as if I closed this book and then my brain went, okay, I've got the ideas for the next one, which was great. I'm going to take today to think them over a little bit more and how I'm going to set them up. But I've talked to a friend who's very, very good at finding things on Pinterest, because that is my downfall, and I'm super excited to announce that we'll be traveling over 2024 in my reading journal, but not in a way that's conventional. So don't think we're going to be taking planes. We might take some boats, but I'll leave the rest for when I finally got it all set up and I can share it with you all. But I'm very excited for that chapter. We've also got a set up for 2024 in other areas of this channel for things that we do, such as the TBR jar is no longer in existence because we're not using a jar, and I have to set that up for you all. So I'm very excited for the next few videos that are going to come, and I hope that you are too. a huge thank you to everyone again for supporting this series and also watching this video today. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing an entire year already set up before 2024 has arrived, and until we next meet, I hope you have fun reading or journaling, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.